So how do you say it would impact your college experience?
Just being willing to step out and just follow where God leads. Also, like, just built a great foundation for, like, community, for getting to know the people who I'm pretty close with now. So yeah. Friendships.
And then if you had to give people in this room one reason to go to the conference, Radiate, what would you say?
Food, fellowship, and friends.
And dance parties?
And dance parties.
Got it. All right. Thank you, Lydia.
Yay!
All right, sweet. So if you want to go to the Radiate conference, it is, let me check my notes. It is $160 with a $40 deposit by December 3rd. It'll be from the 15th to the 18th down in LA. Okay. I thought you were giving me an odd look, like I needed to not say something. I'll leave now. Okay. Yeah, and we're going to have a laptop up here where you can sign up right now if you guys want. Yeah. Outreach. So we have outreach on Tuesdays at 12 p.m. on top of the health center. I went this week. It was myself, Andrew Spiegelman, who isn't here, and Kyle, and it was just a really good time to go out and kind of just have conversations with people on campus and people that are like sitting out. And it's actually pretty easy because people are just people are really willing to just have conversations this week. And I think the last time I went out too, the first person I went up and asked, we were like, hey, do you want to have, we had like some cards, and like, hey, we're taking a survey on campus. And the first person I talked to was like, yeah, I'll have a conversation with you. And we had like a 20-minute conversation. It was pretty nice. So if you want to come out and then just like go out and just talk to people and about God and bigger questions, just come to outreach. Tuesdays at 12. Okay, Reality San Francisco. So this is a church in San Francisco. We all go together on Sundays, so if you guys want to come, 9:30, we usually meet on campus by the subway, like near the dorms. And we'll take a group of people and go to church. We usually like hang out afterwards, grab some food. This week we got some bomb crepes. Other times we get burritos. Pretty cool. Nice time to come to church and hang afterwards. Yeah. That's all I have. Kayla, do you want to come up?
Sure.
All right.
Oh no! My top. Oh, it's over here. That'd be crazy if it was gone. Hi guys. I'm Kayla. I am an intern here with City Crew. I have been at San Francisco State. Well, I went for 4 years and then graduated. Interned last year, and this is my second year interning, so I've been around for a while. Been get here for a long time. Do you guys want to hear an embarrassing story about me? Yes. Okay. Do you want to hear one about me going on a mission trip, or one about me at camp? At camp.
Better stories.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Maybe it won't be that bad to you guys, but this is like horrifying to me.
Oh wait, you told me.
Hey! Oh.
We know this one already.
Spoilers! Okay, so I went to camp at this Christian camp when I was growing up. I think I was in 7th grade, which is just the most awkward. Just the most awkward time of your life. Like, things can't get any weirder. And I was in love with one of the counselors. His name was Bryce. And he was sitting at our tables for dinner, where you there's one counselor and then there's like 10 students. One counselor, 10 students over. And I was at his table. So I sat next to him and I was like asking him what's like in high school and all that stuff. And it was really hot. And I was like in I think I was wearing like a short sleeve shirt and then like a denim skirt because it was like 2001. And I was like sitting, he was like, okay, well, why don't you guys just get going, like, all second chairs. I'm like, oh my gosh, is that a sermon? And I stand up, and I'm like, ooh, like, I'm really sweaty. And then I look back, and I watch him, like, pull the chair up with his hand. Like, he puts his hand down on the chair and pulls it up, and his hand just slides. And he, like, looks up, and it's just, like, sweat. Like, my sweat was left on the chair. And I just, like, I'm watching it. It's like a car accident. Like, I literally can't look away. I'm just like, and I was like, should I say something? I was like, no, just turn around. And then he looks up at me, and we, like, make eye contact, and I'm like, no, can't do this. That's super embarrassing. And I didn't talk to him again for the rest of camp. That was the end of that. Summer love. Okay, I'm gonna pray, and then we're gonna get started. Okay, is that cool? Lord, thank you for this evening, and thank you for being able to just take a moment out of our week to pause and to dwell on who you are in your scripture and your relationship that you desire with us. I pray that your presence would be felt here and that we would experience you this evening. In Jesus' name, amen. So, I should probably get this thing out. So we've been doing this whole Jesus meets us in our topic blank. We've been talking about the different areas that we've seen Jesus meet us in. And along with those things that Jesus meets us in, we've been tying it to a scripture. And so this week we are going to talk about Jesus meeting us in our busyness. Yeah, this topic is actually really difficult for me personally to talk about because, and I feel like it's just difficult to talk about because busyness is just kind of a part of life sometimes. A lot of you go to school and work. How many of you go to school and work at the same time? Yeah, I experienced that when I was in school. And life is just crazy. You're basically working 2 jobs. And so you need to get all of your work done, you need to go to your job, and life is just busy. And a lot of people in here are going to choose to be parents someday, and that is going to be a very busy endeavor as well, especially if you're trying to work to make ends meet and also raise children. That life, there's just like a sense of, yes, there's a lot to do to make ends meet and to get things done. But that's not what we're talking about tonight when I talk about busyness. Kind of like the other side of that, and I can attest to this, is the busyness in life that I choose, that I take on to be more successful, and because I think that life has more meaning when I have a million things to do a day. So I take more and more and more responsibilities on, so that I'm not wasting any of my time, so that I'm not seeming lazy to people. And it's kind of done out of this place of like compulsiveness. It's like, okay, I need to just keep doing things. I need to check off this list. Oh, I have this extra time. I should just go and do this. And then, like, that's more of a little bit of that, like, your heart is busy. Like, your heart is wanting to do more. Your heart is wanting to take on more responsibilities. And then all of a sudden it happens where you start the semester and you're like, I can do everything. And you're like, I am going to join 2 clubs, and I am going to take these classes, and I'm going to commit to this and that and this. And then it's like 2 months in, and you're like, wait, I can't do this. This is actually really difficult, and I'm way in over my head. And you realize that you can't take all of those things on and also take care of yourself. And if you're a Christian, have a relationship with God, have like an intimate relationship with Him where you're able to talk to Him on a regular basis, because you actually have time to talk with Him, and you actually have time to spend time with Him each day. Because that's what our souls are actually designed for. Our souls are designed to spend time with God. And so when we are taking on all of those things, we tend to like miss out on that. I want to tell you guys a story from a time that my pockets, I just tried to stick my hand in my pockets, and they're like this big. It's so ridiculous. When I was a junior, I was coming out of my sophomore year. I had just gone on a summer project called Summer Mission Now, where Alexis went, in Ocean City. And it's this thing that Crew puts on where you can go and be with all these other students from around the country, and you learn how to be like better leaders on your campus. And it's honestly one of the best like training in the world that I've ever gotten in learning how to express my faith on a college campus. And it was really, really awesome. And so I came back from it and I was like, I can do anything. Like, oh my gosh, like super high hopes for myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to show the SAC team what I'm made of. Like, I feel like when I left, I was kind of like not as involved, and now I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be most involved. I'm gonna like go sharing every week. I was stoked. So I started leading freshman girls Bible study, and I started doing the outreach, and I started meeting up with a staff person, and I just like really took on as much as I could. And then I got super overwhelmed by the end of the semester, and I felt really distant from God and really angry with him for not connecting with me. And I felt really angry with how much I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing in any of the areas that I was pursuing. And I was really frustrated, and I felt overwhelmed and exhausted. I failed a class, actually, that semester. It was my only time I failed a class, and it was really upsetting, really depressing. And I decided to take a step back. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take I took 20 steps back, I'm going to take 30, or 20 steps forward, I'm going to take 30 steps back. And I was still on like the leadership team that City Crew was putting on, so like the place where people like lead small groups and disciple other people and lead the outreach times. And I would still go to those meetings that we had like once a month. And I was just miserable through the whole meeting because people would be like, oh, and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And I got to share my faith with this person. And I was like I had taken all these steps back from that. And I just remember sitting with my arms crossed, being so pissed that all these people had so much more value than I did because they all did so much more. And they were all having such thriving ministries and putting more hours, and I was just so angry because I felt like less than them. And so that's the place that I'm talking about. That's the place where you're like, I'm less than another person unless I keep doing more, unless I keep on filling up my schedule. I think a lot of times in our culture, especially, it's really easy to praise busyness because our culture tells us that the more you do, the more valuable you are. But I really like this outlook that this guy named Dallas Willard has, who is talking to someone basically about being more spiritually mature. And he said, a way to be more spiritually mature basically is like, preface, you must ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. Which is just really crazy to me that someone who's doing their best to follow Jesus with all of their might, and who's working in ministry, who's writing books, who is like trying to read and take in as much as possible, you would think there would be a sense of hurry, but he's saying like, no, like you need to eliminate that. You need to, he uses the word ruthlessly, which I think is really, like be ruthless about it and eliminate that so that you are doing less and focusing on the things that are important in this life. Yeah, I just think he's really wise, and I was really surprised when I read that because I feel like there really is a strong sense of hurry that comes with busyness. There's that difference between like being busy with a lot of stuff and being like, oh my gosh, I'm so stressed out, I'm not going to get all of this stuff done. That sense of hurry, eliminating that from your life, he says, is something that you must do. And it tells us to take action in eliminating hurry, not being passive, but to actively choose to cancel out excess that causes us to feel exhausted and ruined when it comes to meet with God, which is something that our soul needs, like I said earlier. I think that there's actually, it's not just eliminating hurry just for the, like, oh, just don't be busy, just for the sake of not being busy. But there's actually like a prize to be had and something to be won. And something to receive when letting go of those things. So I want us to take a look into scripture and kind of look at an interaction that Jesus had with these two women. And we're going to get into groups like we did last week. And just to kind of cover the general ground rules, does anyone remember the ground rules from last week? What are some things we want to like be true to in our discussion groups? You can just shout it out.
Use hip lingo.
Use hip lingo. What do you mean by that?
What the kids are saying these days.
Totally. What else? Can anyone else remember any of the rules we had? Kind of like ground rules for that time?
Try not to use like super Christian or like well-developed big terms because not everyone's at the same faith as everyone else.
Yeah.
So just be
in where you are in your life. Yeah, and then also I would just say like anything that's said in there, be sure to be a good listener while people are talking, not to be on your phone, not to be like looking around the room while people are talking or like listening in on other conversations, but to like make eye contact and to meet the people where they're at. Yeah, anything else that you guys would add to what's important for the discussion time? No? Cool. Okay, so we'll just transition to that and have some discussion questions up on the board. And similar to last time, you guys will get some time just on your own, silently, to read through the passage and kind of like take notes and write out some answers. And then after that's done, you'll discuss together and then there'll be some more discussion questions to talk through. So I'm going to count you guys off to put you back into those groups, and then we'll enter into a time of silence. Really? Huh, okay. So we're gonna go into groups of 7. So discussion group people, could you guys go back to this seat back there? Okay, so 2, 3. Yes. 1. Did I say one? Did I miss it? Okay, 6. Everyone doing it? Okay, cool. You guys can go back to your groups.
Sorry, I just had to yeah, of course.
I'd also get distracted.
Ready and set settings initially.
We're never in the city.
Oh, I thought you were just like.
Sorry guys, I think this is okay. I have more for 7. There's more right here.
Do it already before thanks.
Why don't you sit?
Alexa, where's
Yeah, so like, sorry.
dang. Alright, cool. Never mind.
Yeah, so just go ahead and read this silently to yourself. And you guys will have a chance to introduce yourselves to each other once you finish reading. But go ahead and read. share with your group some of the thoughts that you have about those questions right there.
So, you fix that?
Yeah, I was looking here.
So, what did you guys find encouraging and
The biggest thing that I stuck out was and I think what trying to get straight in like she wasn't doing anything necessarily wrong with her, but she was doing what she was not doing.
That sounds like the
did you find that encouraging?
I think both of them.
Necessary friends.
And like both of them are very very much like turns in on the fact that like one was facing one, which is like it's like not like
by the end of the day, they don't this is all just contextual.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. Okay, it's interesting that Martha, she's up and doing this stuff, and she like thinks that it's all like really more fun. But the fact that she just doesn't. We can go about thinking that we are doing the right thing. But we haven't listened to God.
I do it all the time. I like get distracted by
and then she gets married.
like last night, it's Phoebe's birthday today. And like last night, I was like, shoot, you get there in her eyes.
just like
Hello. And what?
probably maybe she wasn't that young.
Preparing
Kind of
food and
to write her card. But like,
what's important.
I feel like that would
Maybe not that young.
Just like goes like. I mean, I feel like
Not that young.
exactly
Like almost like
necessary and not what you say, but it just
why maybe she didn't.
she's needed in the moment.
She didn't feel like that responsibility.
Any questions? I think I got like Kayla was talking about, like she threw herself
He doesn't really
into
address that. He doesn't really
ministry.
sit there and
necessarily
just
good
like,
that is much like
he like
that is good, but it's when you become distracted with her. She's distracted. I've been distracted with her. She's missing the lyrics of God. When you know he was right there. Get a certain thing was right there, and she was completely missing the purpose of serving.
It's also like, he's not like, even sin is not like, it's just a connotation.
It wasn't
from
a,
it. He's
like,
saying
Jesus
you're
wasn't
from
Jesus wasn't telling Martha, hey, can you get us this, and this.
oh, you're missing stuff.
Jesus was teaching. And
because I feel like he can be busy but not anxious.
couldn't hear because she was distracted.
Yeah, which is and I like how it says I underline that myself, like distracted.
The-
that we can do that. Like we can go
It
about
says very
serving God, being
she chose to listen and he wasn't,
you know, like Kayla was saying, being small with that
that's the last thing.
but we can get distracted with it.
Those are probably the things that
Do it because we're called to do it, not because we take one out and like not because we love you, because that's what we think is
Yeah, it's almost like it's like comfortable for us to serve because we think it's not.
Well, I don't think it's necessarily that we're comfortable with it, but it's that we miss God. It's that we like do it because we're called to do it. We don't do it because we're treasure. I think that's where we can like see something that even Jesus calls us to.
I wouldn't say the passage, but I feel like in general, that's why we stop.
It's not because we
It's like, guys, it's done this. And like, focus on God and what He wants us to do is like recoup yourself and actually know what to do. I don't even know this thing.
I had a question about that. I myself, I don't know why I didn't question it.
I think the
Do you guys have any insights on it?
like
I mean,
looking at your own life and like
to me,
seeing
I feel like
how it can change us.
I think
It is
what we can take from this is in our lives.
Or in the cult, like, I don't know. Even now, it's like,
Do you guys have any questions on this
welcome
one?
to somewhere in your home, be like,
I'm not sure what she means when she says like
especially someone on Busyness, be like,
what does that mean? Like,
serve them in its respect.
well, I mean, it's not just
It's kind of cool. Like by, I feel like it's people like almost like it's almost like it's not that fancy. She says serve the person that you have to like serve and do all these things. We don't, we don't know what she's doing.
it's like good portion of that.
Like because she Martha, like she left Martha and served Mom Mary. Yeah, because I think Martha was like wanted to serve Jesus by doing those things.
I didn't know. I thought the serving alone was directed toward Mary.
And it's like something that can never be done. Like
Or it's like he's going to
Mary, Martha
Yeah.
is distracted with
Yeah.
like her serving, like her work that she did will eventually just like fade out. They're not gonna remember.
To me, it's weird. Like not really a question.
Remember that one time
Martha was but she wasn't
like
going to be like he went to
dinner?
She was like, oh, come in. Okay, no.
Well, and what's interesting about that position is
It seems like
it's almost
she has like good intentions.
like one step deeper in an
Like
analogy.
she's the one who
The same analogy that
she's like she's serving him
serving
in a way
she
like
was
that she
serving
thinks is best.
and he's he's almost in
but I'm worrying about all of these things.
that's not quite
Feelings like this.
yeah.
Like I think it's still coming from a place of
all the time
We're worried about it.
like relating it to my life.
I'm focused on God.
What it comes from.
I'm okay with God. All of
Yeah,
those
it's
worries.
like not being
It's
and you just like
almost like it is luminary.
Okay, so what impression that
I
got
could
you that
feel
you think is
usually
she
like and everything
she
like
can
there
build a
as
house
opposed to like sitting next to the building.
I see that too. It's like
maybe
she was just trying to impress you.
really glad.
Like, oh, you're such a good person. I want to serve you. But hey, come listen. How do you
Like Mary, just realize that Mary also like
personal things
That wants
like that is my life.
what impression of her do you get from this reading? It's just like what do you see in his character?
she cherishes that part of her.
Oh yeah.
We're not going to do
Right.
this.
It's not. No, it's not recording. Ancient instructions. Jesus. I mean, where I get from this is like, even because I was reading the like Revelation, because of the chapter that you're around, all the people of all the nations. She didn't say, oh, some people will do worshiping, and some people will be like, off doing their own thing in heaven. Yeah, like they're all worshiping.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying, like
Have you seen?
I haven't seen it.
Okay,
Have you seen her wrestling?
we're gonna transition now into sharing with the group some of the stuff that you guys just discussed. Sorry, to cut you guys off. So what were some things you guys noticed about the text? What were some things you guys talked about? Or some neighbors talked about?
Well, okay. I think one of the first, or one of the more confusing parts of the passage is down at the bottom when it says Mary is choosing the good portion, and what that means exactly is something that I annotated on the side. I put a little question mark because it's not really clear as to what the good portion like is exactly, whether it's like Mary's time or whether it's her focus or intentions, and then it says later, which will not be taken away from her. So I guess a question that I would have is what God or what Jesus meant by Mary choosing the good portion and what that is.
Yeah, that's a good question. What do you guys think about that?
For me, like I was thinking about that part too, but like I kind of looked at it as like she chose like the good portion. Like she could have done all these other things, but like the portion of like if it was a full circle, like what she could have chosen, she chose the portion that was good, what was like listening to Jesus, like whether it is her time, because it doesn't specify necessarily what like specifically whether it's her listening or her time spending with Jesus. But then like when it says which will not be taken away from her, I saw that as like Jesus is like he's never gonna be taken away from you, and so because she chose to be with Jesus, like that's gonna stay with her, and like the things that Martha was doing, whether like it was like cleaning dishes or like making food, like ultimately like that's just something that's here on earth that doesn't really it's not gonna stay with you forever.
Totally. Yeah. What else are you guys thinking about that question? About the portion and what that means?
Yeah, I think that it's interesting that
even though, like, when you think of, like, the full scale of things, that, like, Martha was doing more things, Mary chose to do a little bit that meant a lot more. And so, like, she chose the good thing, that's gonna last and it's more worthy. And Martha was doing a lot of things that weren't gonna be any good. And, yeah.
What else did you guys notice about the text? What things came up in your conversations?
I liked that Martha, like, throughout the whole thing, Martha's like, she's serving and but she like thinks that she's doing a good, like, what she's doing is good. And like, she was the one who initially like welcomed Jesus in, and I think it's like the way she's serving is coming from like a good place, but it's just like not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Kind of tying into what you were saying in the beginning, where you were like, you were serving on all of these different things, but yet you just weren't like feeling connected. Like, I think serving in itself, like in its essence, is a good thing, and it's worshiping God in a way, but it's all about your intentions and like where your heart is and your focus while serving. Because I think God cares more about the time that you spend with Him than the things that you do for Him. So like, He wants your relationship with Him to come first and serving to come second. Whereas I think sometimes when we're serving, we think that's like the same thing. And we're like, well, I'm serving God, so like my relationship with Him is good.
Yeah.
Whereas like, it's not the same thing. And it can be a distraction from your relationship with Him at times.
What were your guys' thoughts on your impression of Jesus? What was your impression of Him as you read this?
I like that he doesn't like condemn Martha for how she was serving. He doesn't, because Martha asks like, do you not care? And God never says, or Jesus never says, like, no, I don't care. He just like kind of focuses what's important. So.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like it doesn't really make a lot of sense to us, because in our like way of speaking to each other, we never like repeat names twice. We're never like Andrew. I feel like I heard it said that whenever you see like names repeated, especially Jesus does that a lot in Scripture. You know, it's a way of expressing a lot of compassion for someone. It's kind of like, you know, you're maybe like a parent or a parental figure kind of expressing their concern for you. I think it's pretty cool that Jesus, He doesn't like rebuke her or kind of like get angry at the way that she kind of is complaining about the fact that like her sister's not helping. He just has compassion. He just responds with this like, I understand, like, you're just anxious and you're troubled. And so I think the repetition of those names